Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm joined here by Jesse Billiot, who is a councilman with the Pointe-Aux-Chien Indian tribe. Jesse, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. I know there's a lot of organizations that come and work with y'all down there doing some good things. Can you tell us a little bit about, what's been going on?
Absolutely. So for the past couple of years, we've been working with a couple of organizations based out of New Orleans. One of those is CRCL, and the other is Glass Half Full. And what we've been doing is with CRCL, we've been laying down oyster shells that have been recycled from a lot of these restaurants. Instead of them going in the trash or getting ground up, CRCL has joined forces with us, and we've been able to lay them down and reintroduce more sea life to the surrounding areas deadened by the marsh. And Glass Half Full, what they do, a big thing that they do is they take recycled glass bottles. So your wine bottles, your beer bottles, and Louisiana has a lot of those. But what they do is they grind them back down into basically sand. And you can basically roll around your fingers, they don't cut. So what they've done too is they've joined forces along with Common Ground Relief, and we plan on taking a lot of the Christmas trees around town and putting them to good use and packing them down with some of the sand from Glass Half Full. And we want to plug up spots that were dug out in the marsh.
Okay, yeah, you certainly, this area is known for, unfortunately, the loss of wetlands that, through erosion and everything that we have going on, especially what happened a couple of years ago with Ida, that certainly put a big dent in the marsh area.
Oh, yes, sir.
But these trees, that's always something that, using the Christmas trees, using something that people could see as trash to help bring, protection to this area, certainly a wonderful idea.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. So, everybody thinks that, you can wave a magic wand and somehow you get rocks and everything from all over the country. Well, a lot of people don't realize that we have the resources in Louisiana to fix a lot of our problems. I mean, we're the ones that took it upon ourselves to make these levees bigger and to withstand hurricanes. Well, we need to take it upon ourselves to use what we have here. We have our oyster shells to stop the waves. And now we have our Christmas trees every year. We can use it to plug up these spots that have been washed away by the salt water, so that we can have a community again. Because if we don't do this, if there's nothing on the other side of those levees, we will not have a community.
Sure. I mean, that it's certainly in all that, the marsh is just a crucial, ecosystem that provides, not only just economic benefit, but just it's a life force for the whole, community in Lower Terrebonne and throughout Terrebonne.
Absolutely.
As well. So protecting that, is always a good thing. And it's interesting that you use something like, glass bottles, which we have, trash, and you turn that into something useful and you don't let it go to waste. It's interesting that they can just grind it down.
I didn't think they would be able to do it like that either.
Yeah, that's something I've never heard of before. That's interesting. And do you know if they do that around, like in New Orleans? Or
there is a drop-off point in New Orleans. It's off of East St. Bernard Highway, I believe. And we're trying to get one put down here. So hopefully the local bars can participate and, everybody after a Friday.
Certainly. And as far as, Christmas tree locations, where are those being collected throughout South Louisiana?
Yes, sir. So CRCL is collecting them at their location on East St. Bernard Highway. But if you don't feel to make the drive, you can drop them off at the Pointe-Aux-Chien school. That is going to be the original school property, not the new one in our KC Hall for the next couple of years. You can also drop them off at 651 Isle Cuba Road, or you can drop them off at the Ashland landfill, or at the landfill in Montague at 160 Crochettville Road. But if you drop them off at the landfill, please let them know that they are to be recycled. That way nobody accidentally throws them away.
Certainly, yeah. You can't let, things that could be used like that go to waste. And And, it also provides some nice fishing opportunities in the future.
Absolutely. That's the thing nobody thinks about, like for example, the oysters.
That's the first thing I thought about.
Exactly. So which CRCL has been doing work with the oysters, and they've noticed that there's been more oysters grabbing onto to the materials, crabs and worms and other plant life too. And just with these Christmas trees, it becomes a good ecosystem for the surrounding wildlife. We need to rebuild what's been taken down, and everybody, it becomes almost like a civic duty to rebuild this. And if it's easy to throw it away at the front of the street, but it's a bigger project, and it's more fulfilling to donate it where it will be used to protect the land for your children.
Certainly. I mean, that a lot of times, when people think whether or not to get a Christmas tree or artificial tree, now, if you like a lot of wives in that category, I think tend to gravitate toward trying to get the Christmas tree, the real Christmas tree. So if you listen out there, that may be one way you can convince your husband in the future.
Yes, and if you need advice to convince them, we'll always be happy to help out, because we need those real Christmas trees.
And certainly all good things, and it's good to see people coming in from New Orleans to this area in helping with that. But we do need to take another quick break. I know there's some other things I would like to talk about what's going on in Pointe-Aux-Chien. So
thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bourke, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm here with Jesse Billiot, who's with the Pointe-Aux-Chien Indian Tribe, a council member. And we're talking a little bit about the Christmas tree recycling program that organizations working with the tribe on, helping protect, the coastal area in the marshes out there. One thing that we talked about during the break a little bit about, of course, they need to be unflocked trees.
Yes, they need to be real and unflocked.
Real and unflocked, that's, of course, it doesn't harm the environment, and it does what it needs to do and helps bring that environment back. And when will how long for they'll be collected?
Yes, so we'll take them all the way to February 20th.
Okay.
And I don't worry about the leaves on them. We're not concerned about the leaves. It's mainly the branches that we are very concerned for.
Sounds good. Yeah, unfortunately, those needles can fall off real quick. I've had them all over my house. I still have them for 7 Christmases ago. Let's see. Now, another thing that is going on in Pointe-Aux-Chien, of course, you mentioned a little bit the last segment about the location, with the school. Can you tell us what's going on with that in the new school?
Yes. So in Pointe-Aux-Chien, we have, which is going to be the first in the state. It's actually going on right now. It's the first, it's called Indigenous French School. So these children, currently from kindergarten to first, they will learn our local French. They spend about 60% of their day speaking and writing in French.
Well, that's certainly, wonderful. And that's really, if that language isn't, if somebody doesn't take up the mantle to pass that on, or for the younger generation to learn that, then that's just going to be lost right there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The governor came down back in November, and it really made my heart swell, because they sang to him and they spoke to him in French, and the thing he told us was that from the way he saw it, their language was almost lost, because a lot of people my age don't know French, including myself. It's more of our parents or our grandparents. So these children, they come home from school and they speak to their grandparents. And I'm so thankful that they were making sure those children get the practice that they need.
And it's certainly, a wonderful thing. And I guess, I'm with you where I've been around people, speaking half in Cajun French sometimes, the words, but, like we're talking about Reggie Duper, he always has a word or two from Cajun French.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That he comes up with and tells me almost every other day a new word that I've never heard of before.
Oh, yeah. I never thought the language was so different. We have a French teacher from France, from Borneo, and so the way we speak our words are older. It's more of an ancient French. And when the principal, Miss Christine Verdun, when she talks to him, he'll go back and tell his mother, and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's how we used to say it over here." And so we're also thinking about working on a way to translate some of that new French, so that way we can bring the language back, maybe not just from South Louisiana, but maybe to France.
Yeah, you do see a lot of people, and not only France, or you see people from Canada come down to that as well, and this is one area that those French speakers come specifically for that.
Absolutely,
because they know that they have French-speaking people in this area, and it's connected, a similar culture from back in the, that connection from a long time ago that they come to see and experience. So, it's important to keep that, that spirit of Cajun French alive, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to try to sprinkle in some of the way, that our culture, down here survived through things. So we're going to teach them how to plant a garden. We're going to teach them how to survive if something, God forbid, another hurricane were to happen, that they know when they get older how to live off the land. In South Louisiana, a lot of people didn't realize that they were really poor during the Great Depression because of, and this takes us back to the land, because there was so much to eat and so much to, with plants and the fish. It didn't hurt them as bad down here. And so we want to couple that. We want to bring back South Louisiana back to her roots. We want these kids, and we plan on adding in more grades. Hopefully next year we're going to bring in pre-K and second grade. So these kids, we want them to get to South Terrebonne, and we want them to have their own language that's maybe some of these other kids didn't learn, their own secret language. I think would be really cool.
That would be a little different than just pig Latin that some people used to have back in the day. And that's a great thing to have people speaking French in school rather than, back in the day when, you used to get, slapped upside the head.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you tried doing that, unfortunately, back in the day.
My father had that. They had to go to school where they grew up speaking French, and now when he went to school, it was nothing but English. And it was kind of hard because they would try to sneak in French during recess, But these kids are they're really taking it in. And right now we have them at at the old Knights of Columbus building. We've taken that over. The tribe they donated to the tribe, and so now they're in there right now, and soon, in about a year and a half, hopefully, we'll have the construction done, and they'll be in the old Pointe-Aux-Chien elementary school. Well,
that's certainly wonderful to hear that that's trending in the right direction, expanding. Grades and
it's open to anybody in Terrebonne and Lafourche. If you can get transportation there, it's open to you.
That's very important to point out to everybody, because I'm sure not a lot of people know that. Yeah. A lot of people know that, especially with public schools and where you live. That's always.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for mentioning that. But we are about out of time. But thank you, Jesse.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Stay tuned for more right here on HTV.